So South Park's about to come out with a brand new season for the first time in over 2 years, which is pretty exciting. And as a YouTuber that makes South Park videos for a living, I'm planning to cover this season episode by episode as it goes. It's gonna be tons of videos for you guys, tons of money for me, and hopefully a lot of great episodes from this show, and its much needed return. Now in honor of season 27 coming out soon, I figured I'd do a fun little short video talking about my hopes and expectations for the new episodes, what I want to see from South Park in the new season, and what I'm hoping gets covered. Also, I feel bad about the fact that I didn't post for like a whole month, so this is kind of like a bonus video for you guys. But also, what better way to whore myself out to this new season than by capitalizing on every little opportunity to turn it into content. Papa Slush likes profit. All right, that's enough money jokes. I'm beating a dead horse here. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? Now, South Park is a topical show, and even though it seems like they're doing this season ahead of time instead of the usual 6 days to air that they typically do, it's clear from the trailer that they're still gonna be topical. Just maybe a little late to the party this time around, which is kind of weird for South Park, but what can you do? Now, if we're being real here, there are so many topics that they can cover in this season. Some we already know from the trailer. They're gonna talk about Diddy, which seems to include Starvin' Marvin and the Marklars. Moses is gonna be in an episode 2, which can mean a lot of things. Maybe the super best friends are back, or maybe it means something a little more political. Honestly, I have no idea what they're planning to do with him, but I just hope he does that thing where he goes, "Mwah."
Let all debts be forgiven and all slaves freed. Mwah.
But aside from the stuff in the trailer, these episodes could be about anything. And I mean literally anything. Because last season, I definitely didn't expect them to do an episode on the royal couple. That was not on my radar. So I am curious to see what kind of subjects they pick. But you know what is on my radar? Paramount. Now you guys know how I feel about Paramount. I have an entire video complaining about how shitty their streaming service is. And I get the feeling that these days, I'm not the only one who thinks that Paramount sucks. Because when American South Park fans discovered that Paramount would be banning a ton of episodes when they got the show this summer, they were pissed. And Paramount made some very weird choices with those bans. I'm talking like Butter's very own episode or the Pip episode. So you can see why people were kind of furious, because they understand how amazing Pip is and how totally right I am about that episode. Now, Trey and Matt haven't really spoken on the banned episode situation, so I'm not actually sure if they're aware of it or not, but they have, very recently, threatened to sue Paramount, because apparently Paramount is blocking them from making a $2.5 billion deal, and in their own words, really with South Park. Now, my understanding is that this is all a result of Paramount's recent merger with the company Skydance, who has apparently been contemplating removing South Park from their platform altogether. All while Paramount is already in a lawsuit with Warner Brothers because of a contract breach about, South Park's streaming rights. These guys are screwing up so hard, it's crazy. And that's exactly why this is the perfect subject for a new South Park episode. Because you just know that when Trey and Matt are pissed about something, they will rip it into pieces. And I want to see them go as hard as they can on Paramount. Besides, this isn't exactly the first time they've gone meta about their streaming platform situation.
What is going on?
Oh, nothing. Your son and his friends just made exclusive deals for multiple streaming services.
Ugh.
Now, when it comes to the other topics, I honestly don't have that much I'm looking for. Probably shouldn't have said that there are so many topics at the beginning of this thing. But what do you want me to do? Edit my own video instead of just scripting the mistake and then this line further explaining it? Please, grow up. Now, there are a couple more things that I wouldn't mind seeing. One of them being, what do you call that thing? World War III? Yeah, I'm not a political guy or anything, but I feel like these wars going on might, kind of be a good subject to cover. Just throwing that out there. I'd like to see South Park's take on them. Even if they don't actually have something insightful to say, if they could just at least make it funny. That's all I ask. And then the other subject I want them to cover is Elon Musk. And I know that might upset some of you Elon fans out there, some of you Muskers, but you gotta admit, he's a good topic for the show. Because he's been everywhere, he's controversial, and whether you like him or hate him, he's kind of a cringy guy. And I don't even mean that in like the political sense. I just mean that he does weird cringy things like paying someone to rank his Path of Exile account, or his hilarious back and forths with Donald Trump. And yeah, I know they've kind of touched on him a little bit here and there, but I just feel like he's ripe for the picking right now. Like, of all the famous figures out there right now, he's kind of perfect for a South Park caricature. Now, obviously, if they do talk about Elon, and that means talking about Trump in any way, I definitely do not want to see Garrison reprise his role as Trump. I think we're all kind of tired of that by this point. If the subject comes up at all this season, I'm hoping that they just make Trump into his own separate character that isn't Mr. Garrison. Kind of like how they did with Canadian Trump.
Hey, how did a U.S. citizen get past my wall?
I came here to find out where my country gone.
Where your country gone? Where my country gone?
Though to be honest, based on the promo picture that we saw, I don't think we have to worry about too much because Garrison just looks like his old normal self there. Now earlier I mentioned that we've seen some evidence that they might not be making episodes week by week this season. And if that's true, then I could see it going one of two ways. Either they're gonna feel behind the times by covering stuff that's already past its relevance, or they're gonna shift gears and go back to the older style of South Park, where the stories are a little less current events focused and a little more timeless. Now obviously because I'm based and old South Park pilled, I'm hoping for the latter, because I've always felt that the show is at its best when they contain their parodies within the town and the world of the four boys. And I'm pretty hopeful that they're gonna go in this direction anyways, because that's kind of what they were doing with season 26. When it came to episodes like Dick and Bow's Worldwide Privacy Tour, the ChatGPT episode, they managed to keep things within the town of South Park, even though they were making fun of broader topics. And I like that for two reasons. One is that it forces them to focus more on the main characters. So instead of relying exclusively on some caricature of a celebrity for laughs, they work it into the main town. Like think of Worldwide Privacy Tour. It wasn't just about the royal couple, it was about them moving across from Kyle's house and how that affected him.
We are here because privacy is a basic human right. How many more princes and his wives have to live in this nightmare?
And the other reason is that I feel like the limitation of keeping things within the town allows them to get more creative with their metaphors. It forces them to do something a little more unique instead of just directly making fun of a situation. Kinda like how Dick and Bow's was Trey Parker's way of making fun of himself for fixing up Casa Bonita.
Butters, we're about to reopen a historic landmark that means something to people. You think I'm just doing all this for the fun of it? Hang on a second. Whee!
God, I loved that episode. It just makes for such a good balance between having something that's culturally relevant while still maintaining that contained South Park feel that we used to get in the old episodes. Also, while we're on the topic of old South Park styles, you know what I really miss about the old episodes? How savage they used to be. Like back in the first 8 to 9 seasons or so, the boys used to rip on everyone and everything, including each other. And they had the craziest insults. Nowadays, we only really get that kind of attitude and language from Cartman, if at all. But I want to go back to the days when they were all just a bunch of foul-mouthed boys. When even Kyle was edgy.
Oh, that's not funny, boys. Eric isn't fat, he's big-boned.
He must have a huge bone in his ass then.
God damn it, Mom!
Like, come on, how could you not miss that? And yeah, I know, I'm just being nostalgic and times change and blah, blah, blah. But if JVB can resurrect 90s hip-hop and make it cool again, then can someone just please say butt for old time's sake? I think we could all use a little bit of butt in our lives right now. But I don't know, that's probably just a me thing. I'm sure a ton of people feel very differently about this. These are just my opinions, and I'm not even gonna act like this is some well-constructed analysis of the show that speaks to the strengths of what it could be bringing to the table. I just think it's funny when they say butt. But that's just what I'm hoping to see in the new season of South Park. But I don't know, what about you guys? Is there anything you're excited about for this upcoming season? Anything you're worried about? Do you have hopes and dreams? Do you lie awake at night and imagine yourself as a kid again, but you have your current adult brain so you know all the things that'll happen in the future? And you want to invest in the stock market and become rich, but you know you'll have to convince your parents that you actually know the future and you're not just some dumb kid? Let me know in the comments below and I'll see you next time.